On this page, what you will notice is you have a tool and then you will also have charts. In our previous video, when we were working on just the sentence, making sure it was complete, looking for run-ons, overly long sentences, once we mastered those skills and students were able to have a complete sentence, then we're ready to move on to this tool and these different skills. Revising and editing a sentence, but at the word level. We will be using the Sophisticated Word Choice Table Chart tool. This has 4 different boxes, and students will learn step by step each one of these boxes to revise their sentences so they're more sophisticated. In these exercises, we'll be focusing on 4 different skills. Our first skill that we'll focus on is redundant words. Then we'll go to the nouns, adjectives, and finally the verbs. When a child sees a sentence, they don't know how to attack it. The first thing we're going to do is look at those parts of speech. That's our concrete way to get into those sentences so we can find words that are more precise and higher level in order to revise the sentences to sophisticated level that we're always striving for in our writing. Now we're going to start our lessons. First, we will work on the first box, the redundant police box. That's an activity we're going to do so that we can help children avoid redundancies in their writing. Then we will move to dot the nouns, add fancy words, and finally, box the verbs. We're going to walk through these 4 activities in that specific order because you will find that each one of these boxes build on the next. So when you use this table chart, you will be moving from left to right in order to improve your sentences. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is box 1, the redundant police. I'm looking at my sentence. The man ran through the field looking for his son. The man is important. I don't see any other word man. Ran. I don't see any other words. Field. Nope. Looking. No. Son. No. We don't have any redundant words. Yay! Woo, woo, woo! The redundant police isn't going to arrest us when we do this sentence. Let's now go to our next box. Dot the nouns. What am I going to do? I'm going to read the words backwards. If it's a noun, I'm going to dot it. A common noun. Son, field, man. We have our dot the nouns. Let's go back and let's see if we want to change any of these nouns. The man ran through the field looking for his son. I could say man, but what would be a more precise word? So we're looking at meaning and we're looking at emotion for our noun. And we decided, let's change this to father. The father ran through the field looking for his son. Could we change field? Could we change son, those nouns? No, they sound pretty good. They're precise. So we dotted our nouns. We looked at any of the nouns. Do we want a more precise noun? We changed man to father. Next box we're going to do is add fancy words. First thing we want to do is ask, is the noun worthy? The father ran through the field looking for his son. Is he important in this sentence? If the father's looking for his son, is he important? Yes. So then we're going to do what? Draw a caret, add a line. The father ran through the field. Is the field important for the reader? For you to describe that field in this sentence. If he's looking for his son in a field, is it important? Yes. Draw a caret, add a line. The father ran through the field looking for his son. Stop at son. Is son important to the sentence? If the man's looking for his son in this field, is he important? Yes. Draw a caret, add a line. Next, what are we going to do when we add those fancy words? We need to ask, what kind of father would run through the field looking for his son? Are we going to use an emotion word, or are we going to use the 5 senses, or a personality? Otherwise known as ape. What would be the best way to describe the father? If he's running through the field looking for his son, what kind of father would be running through the field looking for his son? What's the best way to describe him? What he looks like, his personality, or his emotion, how he's feeling right now. How he's feeling right now, because that's telling us what's important to describe in this sentence because he's running through the field looking for his son. So the frantic father. So we go back and we have the frantic father. The frantic father ran through the field. What kind of field? would the man be running through if he's looking for his son? Would it be wide open so you can see everything? No. So what kind of field would it be? Ooh, let's describe what it looks like, and we'll be more precise. We'll say it's a cornfield because you have that corn and you can't see anything. So now I'm really frantic because how is he going to find his son? Let's go back. The frantic father ran through the field looking for his son. What kind of son would he be looking for? Am I going to use the appearance of the son's personality, or his emotion? Depends on what I'm trying to get across, the meaning in the sentence. What if I said looking for his naughty son? I use his personality. That tells you a lot. What if I just did appearance, looking for his infant son? Notice how the adjectives that you use are important. You're deciding what kind of adjective to use, and then you're choosing one that's going to add to the meaning. So let's say we have naughty son here. The frantic father ran through the cornfield looking for his naughty son. What's the last box? Box the verbs. Verbs. That's the most powerful part of speech. Everyone knows that. How do we box the verbs? Find the different nouns, and many times after them are verbs. Is it always that case? No, but that's our start. That's how we can find many of our verbs. So we go and we find a dotted noun. Man ran. Yep, that's an action. Let's box it. Through the cornfield, looking for his son. So we have ran and looking. Next, what are we going to do? We're going to go to the thesaurus, find the word run. For run, we are deciding on either race or sprint or dart. And we decided race and sprint sounds like you're actually competing with someone for the meaning. But dart means that you're going quickly, but you're going all over the place in many different directions. So we thought dart sounds much better. So then we have that in present tense. We have to put it in past tense, darted, darted. And darted is giving us that precise meaning and that feeling of he's just running all over the place and he's going in many directions. You can feel that anxiousness that verb is giving us. The frantic father darted through the cornfield looking. We're going to take looking and change it into look and find look in the thesaurus. We find many different words and we decided search was the word that we thought was precise and gave us that emotion. Changed it back to searching, and at this point we have our sentence. The frantic father darted through the cornfield searching for his naughty son. Here's all of our steps that we went through in order to create a sophisticated sentence. What you will find are the directions written out in detail, a direction chart that you should have displayed for your students to follow the steps for redundant words. And then we have an example here so you understand how to teach this skill. On the facing page is the large chart that you will use to display for your students to see the steps, or you could put this on a document viewer and they could see the steps as you're doing this activity. We have up here in our box our sample sentence. The Jolly Rancher is a delicious treat. You will enjoy delicious Jolly Ranchers for an afternoon treat. Be careful, the Jolly Rancher can stick to your teeth. Woo! 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 Redundant police, redundant police. Good writers don't use the same important words over and over and over again. We need to go back and find the important words and we need to change some of them, or the redundant police is going to come and what? Arrest us. That's right. So today, we are going to look at these sentences that have the same important words in them and walk through specific steps so that we can find those words and change some of them. Let's get started. On our chart, we see step 1, circle green lights and red lights. So if you notice, on our sample, we went back and we circled our red lights, and then we circled with green our green lights. Why do we do that? We already know that we are doing green light, red lights so that we can identify the sentences. It's a quick way to see where the sentences begin and end. Also, you can check for your capitals and periods. Step 2, scan each sentence for important words. I'm going to take out a yellow pencil and I'm going to highlight important words. Only the important ones that you say over and over again. The Jolly Rancher. Ooh, Jolly Rancher. That's the name of the candy. That's important. Let's keep reading, and if I see Jolly Rancher again, I'm going to highlight Jolly Rancher. So watch what I do. I point to that word, I know it's important, and then I go through and I see, ooh, there's a Jolly Rancher, and there was Jolly Rancher. We said it 3 different times. So we're going to highlight Jolly Rancher. So we go back and we highlighted Jolly Rancher, Jolly Rancher, Jolly Rancher. Next thing we did was we started from the beginning and we read again. The Jolly Rancher is a delicious. Delicious is an important word. We're not going to highlight it yet, only if we say it again. So let's keep reading. If I see delicious again, then we will highlight it. Treat. You will enjoy delicious. Oh, I see delicious again. For an afternoon treat, be careful. The Jolly Rancher can stick to your teeth. So delicious was highlighted also. Let's go back and keep reading. The Jolly Rancher is a delicious treat. Ooh, treat's an important word. And again, we went back, we found treat in our writing, so we highlighted it. So when you're noticing that you read and you start hearing many of the same words, what do? You go back, you reread, you keep your pencil underneath the word you think is important, and then you keep looking to see if you've said that word over and over again. If so, then you highlight them. Our final step, we need to replace words that we are saying over and over again. If I were writing a longer paragraph about a Jolly Rancher, it doesn't mean that I can't say Jolly Rancher more than once. It's just that you want to have maybe 1 or 2 sentences in between each time you say it, or you want to replace Jolly Rancher with other types of words that mean the same thing. That's why we learn proper nouns, pronouns, and synonyms. Notice as we're working at this word level, we're pulling in what we typically teach in isolation. All those grammar exercises, learning what synonyms, proper nouns, pronouns. So many times we teach these in isolation, which there's no problem with that, so kids understand what they are. But we're connecting this back to actual writing. Otherwise, if we teach what a synonym is, a proper noun, a pronoun, it really doesn't matter because kids don't remember and there's no purpose for it. So at this point, I'm going to say to the kids, we don't want the redundancy police to come and arrest us because we're saying the same important words. So what do we need to do? We need help. And who's going to help us? Proper nouns, pronouns, and synonyms. And when are we going to have help from the proper nouns and pronouns? Only when they are nouns. So could important words be verbs, actions? Yes. What are we going to use for those? Just synonyms. All right. So now we have help from our proper noun, pronouns, and synonyms to help us out. Let's go to Jolly Rancher. Jolly Rancher is already the name of that candy, so that's the proper noun. We already have that, so I'm going to put a check there. Pronouns. Jolly Rancher is a candy. So when I talk about a candy, it's not a boy or a girl. It's an object. So I'm going to say it. What am I going to say? It. A synonym is another way that we could say Jolly Rancher. So I could say treat. What is it? It's a treat. It's a candy. It's a sweet. It's a sucker. These are different words that mean Jolly Rancher. We have our proper noun, pronouns, and synonyms. I'm listing these out for children to see, but you don't need to do this after a while. At first, I do recommend that you write proper noun, pronoun, synonym, and then you brainstorm all the information. We made our list of words for Jolly Rancher. We went back and did the same thing for delicious. Delicious is an adjective. It's a describing word. So a proper noun and pronoun won't work. But I could use a synonym for delicious. What's another way to say delicious? Tasty, sweet, yummy. So we said that the Jolly Rancher could be a delicious treat. And we said treat several times. In this case, we came up with snack. Let's look at our example without the redundancies. The Jolly Rancher is a delicious treat. Now here's where we replaced the words. You will enjoy this tasty candy for an afternoon snack. Be careful, it can stick to your teeth. And we said instead of delicious Jolly Ranchers, we said this tasty candy. Instead of saying treat, we said snack. Instead of saying Jolly Rancher again, we said it. So we used synonyms and we used a pronoun to keep the redundancy police from arresting us. Let's go to our next lesson in which we are going to dot the nouns. After checking for redundant words in your sentences, our next box is called dot the nouns. to choose a more precise noun or a better noun, or we just dot it so we can move on to the add fancy words and powerful verbs. Because when you find the noun in a sentence, it's going to help you find the verbs and the adjectives. Let's go ahead and let's walk through the steps for dot the nouns. Up on the top of your page are more detailed directions. Here's the chart that we show the kids. Right next to it, you'll see the sample text that we need to edit and the final copy below. If you notice, the first step on our chart is always green lights, red lights. And then the second step was find and replace redundant words. Remember, I told you that on this table chart, we're always starting with the first box. So when we get to dot the nouns, our direction sheet is telling you green light, red light, go through the redundancy police steps. Now dot the nouns. You will see on our sample then, we have our green lights and red lights to identify the sentences. The next thing you'll see are the words that were highlighted that were redundant. Notice in our final copy, up here, lady was kept in the first sentence, but later on, in the last sentence where they had lady, it was replaced with she. The word boy was written many times in the sentence, so it was replaced with a pronoun he and a synonym lad. And we chose lad because that is a nice feeling. This is a nice boy in this sentence. We don't want to say juvenile. That doesn't have a nice feeling to it. So we're saying lad or youngster. Youngster wouldn't go and buy milk, so that wouldn't be precise. So we chose lad because that has a nice feeling to it, and that would be someone old enough that could buy milk. So remember, you're being precise with your words and choosing ones that are going to match the meaning of your sentence. Another word that was used many times was soy milk, so we changed that to a gallon of milk. So we said gallon. Once we replaced our redundant words, step 3 is read backwards to find the nouns. I'm going to start at the end of my sentences, and I'm going to read each word, and I'm going backward. It's a little editing trick. If you take a sentence and read word by word, then you isolate the word. Sometimes when you read from the beginning of the sentence to the end, you forget what you're looking for. So it's a great way to keep focus on what you're doing. So we go and we look at each word and we say, lad, that's a noun, I dot it. The, no, thanked, no. She, that's a pronoun, I'm not going to dot it. The, returned, he, pronoun. And notice we dotted only the common nouns. So we went through, read backwards to find the noun, and then we would, step 4, dot those nouns. Our third box, add fancy words. Up on the top of your page are more detailed directions. Here's the chart that we show the kids. Right next to it, you'll see the sample text that we need to edit and the final copy below. All these boxes build on each other, so you will see that steps 1, circle green lights and red lights, we're already done. Find and replace redundant words, we did that. Notice in number 3 it says dot the nouns and add carets to worthy nouns. As we go through this step, I notice I have many nouns dotted, but am I going to describe every single noun? No. I have to decide which noun I'm going to describe. So when I describe a noun, I have to ask, is it worthy? So you go to the sentence, you read, and when you see a dot, you're going to stop. That's why we dot the nouns. It's a quick reminder, oh, there's a noun, should I describe it? So we read, the lady. Is the lady important in this sentence? So I'm going to keep reading the sentence to see if she's important. The lady asked the boy to buy soy milk at the store. Is that lady important in this sentence? She asked the boy. So is she important? Yes, she is, because she's asking the boy for milk. So she's doing something in the sentence. She's important. We're going to draw a caret, add a line. So when we read, we are reading the lady. Stop. That's a noun. Is it worthy? Keep reading. The lady asked the boy to buy some soy milk at the store. Is she important in the sentence? If she asked him to buy milk, yes, she is important in this sentence. So what do? Draw a caret, add a line. So we're going to draw our caret and add a line. And we're going through and we're going to do the same thing to all the other dotted words. The lady asked the boy, oh, it's dotted. I stop. Is this noun worthy of being described? Let's continue reading. The lady asked the boy to buy soy milk at the store. Is the boy important in this sentence? Yes. Then what do? Draw a caret, add a line. The lady asked the boy to buy soy milk. Stop. Milk. I already said soy milk. Do I need to describe it anymore? No. It's not that important. It's milk, soy milk. That's all we need to know. I don't need anything else. Stop. Store is a noun. Do I need to describe store? Is store worthy? Let's see. The lady asked the boy to buy soy milk at the store. Store doesn't need to be described. That's enough. He's going to the store to buy it. So that's not that important. So I'm not going to draw a caret and a line. So notice what I did when I'm doing step 3. I'm stopping at the dotted nouns. Then I'm checking to see if it's worthy by reading and asking if that word, in other words, lady, is important to this sentence. Do you need to see the lady? Do you need to know more about the lady? What kind of lady is she? Do you need that information? Yes, she's important, so we need to describe her. Once you've gone through all the sentences, stop at the dotted nouns, ask if it's important, draw a caret and a line, then you're going to go to step 4. Step 4 is where we are going to add our fancy words. What kind of words are we going to add? Well, when you add a fancy word, the first thing you need to do is ask the noun, what kind of, then you put the noun in your question, and then you put the context of the sentence in that question. Let me show you what I mean. What kind of lady, so there I'm putting lady here in my question, would ask a boy to go buy soy milk at the store? So notice I'm saying the whole sentence. I'm putting the noun, the lady there, and I'm asking what kind of lady would ask a boy to go buy soy milk at the store? Next, I need to look at my adjectives. Boys and girls, before we describe our noun that we thought was worthy, I'm going to have you do the following. Go like this and say, ape the noun. What, everybody? Ape the noun. That's right. We're going to use the word ape when we decide what kind of adjectives, what kind of fancy words do we want to use. A is appearance, and we're going to use the 5 senses for appearance. P is personality. What kind of personality does that noun have? E is emotion. How does that noun feel? We dotted the nouns, then we added a caret and a line if it was worthy of being described. Then we asked what kind of, and then we put the noun in our question sentence here, what kind of lady would ask a boy to buy milk? And then we decided, are we going to use the 5 senses? Are we going to use an emotion word or a personality word? If she's a lady, she's a grown-up person, go to the store and buy their own groceries. So I need to tell you either how she feels, maybe she's ill, or maybe I need to describe what she looks like. So what would she look like if she couldn't go get the milk, if it's difficult? Old lady. So in our sentence, we just know because we've written this story, she's an old lady. She's not ill. She's not sickly. She's just old. And it's difficult for her to get to the store. So what word are we going to use? Old. And we write old there. Notice we didn't use tall lady. Who cares if she's tall? That has nothing to do with the story. So we decided we needed the reader to know what she looked like. The lady asked the boy to buy some soy milk at the store. All right, we decided that we were going to describe boy. Let's go back and ask our question now. What kind of boy would buy soy milk at the store for an old lady? Am I going to tell you his appearance, what he looks like? Am I going to tell you his personality? What kind of personality would he have? Or how he feels? And at this point, we decided, his personality. He's a helpful boy. That's important to say that because he's going to help this old lady by buying her some milk at the store. So we went back and wrote helpful. I don't need to say the sloppy boy, the dirty boy. I need to say the helpful boy. That's the information we need that fits in this sentence. He ran to the market. Ooh, we said that's a worthy word. He ran to what kind of market would he run to get a gallon of milk? Am I going to describe that market? Tell the personality or emotion? Personality doesn't work, emotion doesn't work. I'll describe that market. So now let's go back and say, what kind of market would a young boy go to buy a gallon of milk? And we decided we would say a local market. That's how we're going to describe that market, a local market, because he's a young boy. He can't get in the car and go driving. He has to walk there or run there. So it's a local market. So that way the reader knows it's nearby. He can get that milk. All right, you would continue on and add fancy words to any of the other worthy nouns using the same process. Our final sentence was, the old lady asked the helpful boy to buy soy milk at the store. He ran to the local market and got a gallon. When he returned, she thanked the kind lad. We have our fancy words there. Our last box is for powerful verbs. This is the last skill we're going to teach for sophisticated sentences and this manipulative. Up on the top of your page are more detailed directions. Here's the chart that we show the kids. Right next to it, you'll see the sample text that we need to edit and the final copy below. Because all the boxes go in a progression when you're using this tool, we're repeating steps that we've previously learned. We have step 1, circle the green lights and red lights. Notice in our example, we've done that. Step 2, find and replace redundant words, then dot the nouns. In our example, we've done that. Step 3, add carets to worthy nouns, then adjectives. We have our adjectives describing our worthy nouns. We'll go to our last step, box the verbs. How do I find the verbs? The noun is very helpful to help find other parts of speech. So we'll go through and we'll look at our nouns, and then we'll look right after the noun to see if we can find a verb. The lady. It's dotted. Let's see if there's a verb after that. Asked. Yes, we boxed it. Go to my next word. Boy. Let's look after that. To buy. There's that infinitive. So we're going to box to buy. Here's milk. At. Nope, that's not a verb. That's not an action. So we're going to keep going. The store. He. I know that's a pronoun, so I'm going to stop. Ran. Let's box ran. To the market. Here's market. And nope, that's not a verb. Got a gallon. When he. There's a pronoun. Returned. Box it. She thanked. Thanked is an action. The lad. And then we're at the end. So we can look after our dotted words or find any other types of nouns, proper nouns or pronouns, and we'll box the verb. That's one way to help find the verbs in our sentence. Once we have the verbs, then we need to find a much more powerful part of speech. And I tell the kids, verbs, that's the most powerful part of speech. Everyone knows that. And then I have the kids turn to their buddies and say it. Verbs, that's the most powerful part of speech. Everyone knows that. That's right. When we have a verb, that's going to be one of the best words we can find to fix. So in order to find even more powerful verbs, where can we go? Let's go to the thesaurus. And it doesn't mean that I can't go to a thesaurus when I'm finding adjectives or other nouns, but if you are just starting to teach kids how to use this tool, then be choosy about which types of words you're going to look up. And I always start with verbs. Problem with that is we then need to look at past, present, and future tense. In this writing we have, because this is telling a story, it's written in the past tense. I know that if I'm going to go look up a verb in the thesaurus, what's it going to be? The thesaurus will be in the present tense. So I will look at the lady asked. Asked is past tense. So what do I need to do? I need to say ask. Then I will look up the word in the thesaurus. When we look up that word, we're going to find many different types of verbs. This is where a problem comes when you use the thesaurus. We have to choose the one that's precise. So when we looked at the word ask, we found words like solicit, beg, demand, and request. When we found these words, we had to look at which one is precise. So we're looking at what's precise plus which one gives us the feeling we want. So we need a word that is precise. That means the meaning is exactly what we need for that word. That needs to be exactly what we mean in this sentence. Plus, is that word giving us the emotion, the feeling we want to get across in this sentence? So let's look. We're having the lady ask the boy. Look at the word solicit. Solicit means that you're asking someone to get something for you. If you are begging someone, then you're down on your hands and knees. Demanding means you're ordering someone. Requesting means that you're asking, I hope you do this. So I'm making a request. I'm asking you to do something. So we looked at this and said, which one is the most precise? And we thought, So we decided solicit and request could both be used. They both have a great feeling to them. And in this case, we decided that we wanted to use solicit. And we said solicit is present tense. In order to add it to our writing, we need to make it a past tense verb. So then we changed it to solicited. So we went back and we wrote solicited. So solicited and request were ones that we chose from. Either one would work. But solicited is a little bit more formal than request. And she's an older woman. She doesn't really know this boy. He's like maybe a neighbor. So we're going to use solicited because it's more formal. She's older, he's younger, and she's being more formal in her asking him to go to get milk instead of a request, which is a little bit more familiar. It's very much shades of gray, but it's a wonderful way to teach those shades of gray and why we learn shades of gray in order to have more precise words. And when we say precise, so that we have the correct meaning and feeling. So if you notice in our sample sentence, we had the old lady solicited. We changed asked to solicited. The helpful boy to purchase. So instead of to buy, we changed it to purchase, which is just a more powerful verb. Instead of buy, which is a little lower level language, we wanted to up the ante and say purchase. And when we said purchase, we also thought, well, what would an older lady who's being formal say? Would she say buy or would she say purchase? She'd say purchase, says let's use purchase. He ran. So instead of ran, we used dashed to the market and got a gallon. So he dashed to the local market and bought a gallon. When he returned, we kept returned. Why? Even though we're boxing the verbs, it doesn't mean we need to change each one. We thought returned was a great verb, so we kept it. When he returned, she thanked the lad, and we decided to say praised. We felt that was more precise to the meaning of our sentence, so we chose praised. Notice we went through all the steps where we were able to mark our sentence. And in this case, the final result was not only to add more powerful and precise verbs, which means we're looking at the meaning and emotion that they give our reader, but also that was our final box on our table chart. So these sentences are now sophisticated. Let's give it one more whirl and walk through what the sentences in this short passage sound like. The old lady solicited the helpful boy to purchase soy milk at the store. He dashed to the local market and bought a gallon. When he returned, she praised the kind lad. The goal of this tool is for your students to use all 4 boxes. You can, when you're introducing this tool, just teach one box at a time and slowly progress to the point where they can use all 4. It really is up to you and the students in your room. If they can take all 4 when you're teaching it, great. For you to determine, depending on the students in your room. One final point. Too many times we do isolated activities, then when they go to write, they don't apply these skills to their writing. So what I suggest is that you do the following. When a student has finished a piece of writing, let's say they wrote a paragraph, identify one sentence and say to them, I want you to take this one sentence, grab the sophisticated word choice table chart, and I want you to walk through all 4 boxes to fix that one sentence in your writing. Then we'll put it back into your paragraph. Eventually, you could challenge them to have 2 sentences, or when they have multiple paragraphs, find 1 sentence per paragraph. Eventually, they'll just be able to read and apply these skills to their own writing that we're teaching. That's our goal, is to eventually not even have the tool. They just naturally do this on their own. We now have covered 2 tools, one for complete sentences and one for the words in a sentence. At this point, once both of these tools have been mastered by the students, then they're ready for the final sentences manipulative, and that is the transitions accordion. Let's go to our next video so we can teach students how to take these sophisticated, complete sentences and have more smooth and cohesive transitions in their writing.